Hey, King Monyay, welcome to my channel, YouTube. So anyway, as you can see, it says hashtag Milton Pettis. Who is Milton Pettis? Milton Pettis is an alleged gang member from the Deep Valley Crips, and his story is interesting. I promised him something when I was in prison that I won't let his story go forgotten. So, a little brief background. Around the age 16, Milton Pettis was just a regular kid, from Oceanside. His family's a military family, so his life, he was raised with a loving family structure. You know, uh, the siblings of 10, he had 10 brothers and sisters, and he enjoyed playing video games and stuff like that. Well, one evening, up in Oceanside, following in the Rodney King beatings, around that time, young Milton Pettis was at the arcade game. All right, like any kid, at the arcade game, playing the arcades. Milton Pettis left with his family and friends. Well, he left with his friends. Maybe he was with his girlfriend, not his girlfriend in that way, but a friend that was a girl, and maybe his homeboy. Outside, when they leave, due to the Rodney King beating in the area, it was the police were on heightened alert, so they was harassing people in the community. So young Milton Pettis, he leaves the arcade. When he leaves the arcade, the police approach him and they corner him off. The officers they corner off Milton Pettis along with the two other friends. When they corner him off, the officers tell them that they need to come to the alley. They're telling them they need to come to the alley. Now, Milton Pettis wasn't no dummy. He knew what was going on in the community, and he knew that sounded weird. He said, no, why y'all want me to go to the alley? Why can't y'all just talk to me right now? He knew it was suspicious. Due to the rising tensions in the community, Milton refused to step back into the alley and speak with officers, and then instead he decided, y'all can talk to me right here. And he told his friends right there, hey, y'all call my mom, call my brothers and them, and tell them what's going on. Tell him we up here at the arcade and the police is harassing us. He's telling his people to tell him that while the police is trying to direct him to the alley. The officers then become outraged and mad that this young black kid, Milton Pettis, is refusing to obey their order, refusing to step into the alley. And so the officers, they call for more backup. And when the backup arises, when the backup arrives, they arrive at the same time the family of Milton Pettis arrives. So when the family arrives, the police arrive, and the family notices the police at this time trying to detain Milton Pettis, and it looks like a scuffle, and an all-out war or collision breaks between the Pettis family and the police officers. It gets real bad. The Pettis families get beat down, whooped, cuffed, and things like that. Milton Pettis was beat pretty bad. His brothers were beat pretty bad. They were beat severely bad to the point where they filed a lawsuit against the Oceanside Police Department. This is public records. They filed a lawsuit against the Oceanside Police Department, and they won. They won. They found out, the officers were wrong, and they assaulted the Pettis family. They injured them, so they was awarded some money. I tell that story because that's the backup story of what happened truly with Milton Pettis. Now, fast forward. Ever since that time that Milton Pettis and his family won that lawsuit against the Oceanside Police Department, the Oceanside Police Department had a vendetta against the Pettis family. The Oceanside Police Department began to keep Milton Pettis under surveillance, began to pull him over and take pictures of him as a 16-year-old kid. Take a picture of him wearing his blue. Take a picture. Hey, come here, man. Let me see you toss it up. Toss it up. So the police, they got priors of doing that. How many times have they pulled over somebody and said, just pulled you over in the neighborhood and said, hey, man, toss it up. Let me see how you toss that shit up. Toss it up. And once you toss it up, they take a picture. You only 12 years old, but what they're doing is they're documenting you as a documented gang member. This is a known tactic. This is what police all across America do, especially in California. So they document certain people at a young age. They're preparing you to be painted as a vicious criminal and as a gang member. They were creating a gang file on you. And so that began to happen to Milton Pettis as a teenager. He continues to get harassed. He continues to get documented as a gang member, right? He never was really convicted of any gang activity. But Milton Pettis is serving life in prison right now. And I will tell you why. On one evening, Milton Pettis receives a phone call. This is later on in life. Now, maybe Milton Pettis is about 30 years old. Milton Pettis receives a phone call from his homeboys, and his homeboys mad. I don't know the specifics of the exact phone call, but this is what was told to me by Milton Pettis. And those of you who know who I'm talking about, we call him Shake, Milkshake. And that's he receives a phone call, and on the phone call, it's one of his friends talking about how he's about to go fuck somebody up. Hey, woo-dee woo, I'm about to go down there and fuck these niggas up. Yeah, man, these motherfuckers got us fucked up. Yeah. Milton Pettis is at home with his girlfriend listening to this phone call, and he receives the phone call and says whatever, all right, and hangs up. Fast forward, later on that night, Milton Pettis is arrested. He's arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. He's not panicking because he knows, because y'all got the wrong person. I was at home with my girlfriend all night. I ain't been nowhere. And he hadn't. He hadn't been nowhere. But what had happened was that phone call he had received from his homeboy was used against him as evidence to prove that he had intended to commit a murder. He didn't plan to participate. He just listened to the conversation without objecting. He listened to it and didn't say, nah, you can't do that. That's wrong. I'm calling the police. He listened to the conversation and he didn't say, oh man, you tripping. You shouldn't do that. He listened to the conversation, and him listening, along with the history of the Pettis family within that community, was enough to convict Milton Pettis to this day of life in prison for conspiracy to commit murder. No murder was ever committed. He never participated in no crime. And only God knows the intentions of what really happened. But I tell that story because it should be shocking to the American people. It should be shocking that this has happened, and we should want to investigate. Like, this can't be true. When I heard this, I was pissed. I said, what? So you mean to tell me they can lock you up, throw away the key? So I looked into this conspiracy charge, right? This conspiracy to commit murder was a crime that charge that they had created with the intentions to bring down the mob, the mafia. Back in those days, this was something they had wanted to use against the mafia, and so that was the original reasons they used it. There's a little bit more to the Milton Pettis story, but the part that I told you right now, and the part that I want to get to the American people, to the public, is to know this: that there was a vendetta against his family from the get-go. There was history between the Oceanside Police Department and the Pettis family. Milton Pettis is in prison, and he's an innocent man. I'm not saying he's a good man. I'm not saying he's a saint. I'm saying he's innocent of the crime that he was convicted of. And one of the things the detectives told him when they arrested him and when they was interrogating him, they said, we know you didn't do it, but you know you're going down, don't you? See, so there was other things. They had a vendetta against this guy, and there was informants that came out. He was doing whatever he was doing, But What he wasn't doing was committing no crime, planning to commit no murder. Excuse me. He wasn't planning to commit no murder. He didn't conspire to commit no murder. And he should not be in prison for life for a crime that he didn't commit. And we have got to stop this. We got to do something about this conspiracy to commit murder. Because what if it's you? What if next time they say you conspired to commit murder? We are locking people up for shit that we are saying they intended to do. We are trying to lock people up to fill up a system that is hell-bent on containing slavery in America. Period. No crime committed. You know, it's a misabuse of the system. And I'm fed up with it. And frankly, this is what my passion is about. My passion is about situations like this. You know, because if you did it to him, next they'll do it to you. So be careful when you're talking on the phone and somebody's saying something reckless. You better say, nah, that's some crazy shit. I don't agree with it. Lest they use that same evidence, that same conversation as reason enough to throw away your life. Think it's a game if you want to. Think that be naive and say they can't do it. I know some people right now that's rotting in prison for shit like that. I'm King Monyay, man. And I got a plan to expose what's going on in the system and end mass incarceration. You know, I got intentions to speak out about injustices like this. Somebody asked a question. They said, what do you think, man? You think we should just let everybody go? What about the people who commit crimes? Don't they deserve to be in prison? They can't just walk around doing what they want to do. True. I say true, damn it. There is a penalty for committing crimes. There is. But when you start creating laws, rules to target a certain group of people, to target a certain class of people, that ain't cool, man. That ain't cool. And if it ain't never happened to you and you can't understand it, well, stay the fuck out this conversation, man, because you ain't got nothing to do with it. You ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? You're speaking on something you don't know nothing about. You know? That's what kills me. This shit is real. This is going on in America right now. I encourage everyone to really look up the situation of Milton Pettis. Calling on some. This happened years ago, maybe 2012. But anyway, he's locked up right now. His you can do the inmate locator. Look up a man by the name of Milton Pettis, and the CDC number is G21223. Just look it up. If you're a lawyer, if you have any information about law, or you have any connections, I challenge you. I urge you to look into this. Look into this. If we don't do nothing else for the rest of our life, let's look into this situation and see what really happened, man, to this father who's sitting in prison because of the type of history his family had with law enforcement. That's real, man. So let's go ahead and free Milton Pettis. Let's free Shake. And I told him I'd do this, and that's what I'm doing. If you like what you hear, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the like button. I'll respond to the comments. This was a little longer video, but shouts out to the whole Monyay tribe. As soon as I get to 1,000 subscribers, we going live. We gonna chop it up. It's gonna be real good. Y'all have a blessed day. Please take care of yourself, love yourself, and think before you act. Remember, you can always turn this around, man, and make a decision today to do something to advance yourself and then advance society. I'm gone.